All right, boom. So here's the plan, right? One sewing machine, 5 hours, a 5 pair of pants. So this is a sewing challenge I gave myself because I feel like I've been a little out of tune with sewing, and I wanted to bring y'all along the ride with me. So we're gonna have fun today.
When you're creative, you got like 3 days to act on your idea, because if you don't, bro, the motivation might go away. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. A lot of the times I don't even be sketching. I just start the design and I just go along with the flow.
I like that. I like that. We're not gonna make it too crazy. Not gonna make it too crazy. We're gonna make it just a little subtle with a little bit of detail because you don't want to take too long because you got 5 hours. And what time is it? It's 3 o'clock. Okay.
But back during the pandemic, I spent a lot of time sketching ideas out, getting into a rhythm, and just figuring out what my aesthetic is from my design process. You know what I'm saying? Now getting into the inspiration of the pants. I knew you were gonna ask, that's why I brought it up. I'm always going to different kinds of events. It could be birthday parties, baby showers, work events, photo shoots, hanging out with friends, just maneuvering through New York City. So I was like, you know what? Let me create something that I can use on an everyday basis and that could be interchanged with many different types of outfits.
So these have been my go-to fabrics for years. I'm starting off with a cotton canvas. I usually incorporate some type of nylon sometimes or cotton twill. That's just the JPE structure for pants, you know what I'm saying? Just because I feel like cotton canvas is very durable. It has a pretty good weight to it, and cotton canvas has like a certain type of luster to the fabric that makes it look a little bit more elegant. That's the reason why I do it. So the base of the pants is gonna be this black cotton canvas. Personally, I love it because it kind of has like a dressy vibe to it, but it also can look streetwear as well. It just depends on the silhouette that you use and how you style it. I'm also hyped, right, because I love contrast, so I'm gonna use this shiny vinyl material as just some accents. It's not gonna be too much on the pants. I'm gonna use it as some accents. And then for my last design challenge that I did, I also have this material as well too, and it's also a vinyl. So I'm gonna be using probably like 5% vinyl in this pants, and I'm gonna be using the vinyl as like stitching details for the cotton canvas pants. But in all honesty, I love contrast, and I feel like contrast elevates a pair of pants. So now that I have my fabrics laid out, the next thing is to put the pattern on top of the fabric. You always put right side to right side if that's what you wanna do. So right side to right side ensures that you're using the face of the fabric. Sometimes certain fabrics, you're allowed to use the back of the fabric as well too, because it might look similar. It just depends on what you want. But you always do face to face, put the pattern on top, and then cut. All right, so we're already 45 minutes in. That's bad. But it's okay, we're not gonna rush. When you're a fashion designer, it's completely normal to talk to yourself, bro, because if you don't talk yourself through certain steps, you might mess up and have to go back again and do it all over. So I'm like, listen, make sure that you're pinning this, make sure that you're doing that, or oh yeah, make sure that you extend the leg, bro, because once you cut the fabric and you don't even do that, it's gonna be annoying. Alright, y'all, so this is all of the vinyl material that I told you I was gonna use. These are strips. I cut them into rectangles, and I'm gonna use them as details in the pants on the front, and I'm gonna also use them in the back pocket as well. Sewing is very similar to painting to me, especially when you're just freestyling. Like, it's good to just be able to get into a flow state and then add your concepts as you go along. Because sometimes when you're so structured, it takes the fun away from it, you feel me? So I might be making some changes to it that I don't know I'm gonna do, and then it ends up being something better than I thought. Or it could be worse, you never know. See, this is what you don't wanna do. Balancing sewing and eating at the same time, it's not a flex. It's important to have balance in life, you feel me? But I'm making a lot of progress because the old me probably would have waited till after I was done sewing to eat. But I'm eating in between. I messed up, you see? Damn. So this is how it looks. So I sewed the two vinyls together. It's two black and then the grayish one. And I'm gonna attach it to the front. It's coming out smooth. I'm gonna take a 15-minute break as if I'm working at my job. Cause you know, you gotta be disciplined, you know what I'm saying? Like if you got a 15-minute break at work, 30-minute hour break, you gotta treat it the same for your own life too. You can't just be for corporate and you're not doing that for yourself. Cause an hour would turn into 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours if you're not paying attention.
Y'all might think I'm crazy, but when I first started my sewing journey, I used to use my food money for fabrics instead, and then I'd be hungry sometimes. I know.
Alright, so this is what happens when you rush, right? This kind of got messed up, and I'm a little annoyed about it because I feel like I did so much of it and I have to go back. And this is the reality of sewing, right? Like, it's not gonna just be some perfect 5 hours plus of me just having a perfect moment of sewing pants, bro. Like, it's a lot that goes into it, and I just wanted to show y'all the raw behind the scenes that goes into this. So now what I have to do is I have to find my seam ripper, wherever that is. I have to seam rip each thing, and I have to sew it back together. And that's the part that takes away the time, because as of right now I have about like 2 hours left, and I'm like, how am I gonna get this done? But we gonna figure it out.
I'm rethreading the bobbin right now, and when I tell you, it is probably the most annoying thing ever when you're sewing a garment and then you realize after the fact that your thread didn't even catch the whole entire time. Yo, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes living in New York City is really hard as a creative, because especially when the weather's getting nice, you wanna go outside, you wanna spend time with your friends, you wanna go to new restaurants, you wanna do but then you gotta stay disciplined and focus on the craft, and like, you gotta edit. I gotta edit the videos, I gotta plan my videos out, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot, but I'm very devoted to this, and I'm devoted to y'all, so I'm holding myself accountable, and I hope y'all hold me accountable to staying consistent. My friends, this is the seam ripper that I was talking about. It is a blessing and also a curse, because when I have to pull it out 99% of the time, I'm frustrated. But using this is what's gonna make you better, because the more mistakes you make, the more you're gonna learn.
See, now y'all starting to see my energy go down, yo. I just want to take a break, yo. I'm tired. Sometimes my brain just get fried like while I'm sewing, but it's all good. We gonna push through.
Yeah, I lied. I was definitely cooked, y'all.
What's up, y'all? As y'all can see, the lighting changed for a reason, because today is day 2. And I did not get it done in 5 hours, y'all. Like, I tried to push through. I know I could have done it, but I needed to eat dinner. And then I got tired, and then I was like, yo, I want to, you know what I'm saying? I just needed something different to stimulate my mind. Okay. But I got a lot done. This is the first part of the zipper fly so far. And I sewed the fronts. Here's the details for the front leg. It's looking pretty good, you feel me? But like I said, there's gonna be moments where things don't go as planned, and you just have to give yourself grace, because we are not burning ourselves out while we're creating, yo. It's just not happening no more. I'm not gonna put my body and my mental health on the line just to say that I finished something in a certain amount of time. But with that being said, I have a fresh start today. I'm gonna finish the pants. All I have to do pretty much is just sew the back pockets, and then once I do that, I'll sew the pants together on the side seams, the inseam, and then I just gotta do the belt loops and the waistband, and then we done. And the hem. I don't like doing
I was a little disappointed in myself. I honestly believed that I could get those pants done in 5 hours, but it just didn't work out. This is a prime example of when you plan something in life, sometimes things just don't go as planned. That does not mean that you're bad, and it definitely doesn't mean that you need to put yourself down. I could honestly say it was just a learning experience. And the most important lesson of all is that we need to prioritize our mental health and our rest. This is a tip I always like to give. I like to work in 30 to 60 minute intervals and then take like a 15 or 20 minute break in between, just so I could give myself some grace. Because sometimes when I lock in for like 4 or 5 hours, that could be the same exact reason why you start feeling way more heavier in a short amount of time. So maybe try to figure out a system that works best for you when you're creating, and potentially take a break that isn't going to throw you off your game too much.
I know a lot of y'all sew as well, but let me know if y'all want a zipper fly tutorial. I could also do a video on that, because it could be very tedious sometimes.
When you're on your sewing journey, you're probably going to get to a point where you don't use pins anymore. But I always recommend them, because I was just sewing the side seam and I noticed that the top of the waist shifted a little bit. So again, I had to bring the seam ripper back out and start all over. There's no better feeling than finishing the project you said you was gonna finish. I am on top of the world right now. That's my Haitian accent. When I bring out my accent, you know I'm feeling it. I'm so hyped right now. This is the final result. I love how they came out. The silhouette is perfect. The vinyl details matches the details on the back pocket. There's no better feeling than sewing your old clothes, y'all. I'm telling you.
So now that the pants are finished, y'all see that it did not take 5 hours, yo. A lot of times when it comes to design, there's a lot more that goes into it. And sometimes you're gonna have to take a break. Sometimes life comes up. Sometimes you need to get your mind right, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted this to be an example of what it is to pace yourself, not to be too hard on yourself, to give yourself grace on the design journey, and also share how creativity could come at any given moment. If you feel inspired creatively in any way, I'd love for y'all to hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna be doing a lot more design challenges. This was very spontaneous for me, but I had a lot of fun doing it. And next time, maybe I'll be able to finish the garment in the amount of time that I said I was gonna do it. I'd also love to hear what kind of videos y'all love to see more from me as well too. But this summer is gonna be full of fun. We're gonna have mad adventures, and it's time to be present.